Morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad.
Good.
How are y'all?
We're good.
Making it?
Don't lie to
He just told me not
everybody.
So y'all aren't doing good.
I didn't do strongman yesterday because I wanted to give my lower back a little bit of a rest. So I'm moving better. I'll probably go work out tomorrow. I figured I know everything in strongman is low back intensive, so I took the day off.
That's okay. Taking a day off is a good thing sometimes. How did it feel after the massage?
It was okay. I just modified everything on Friday.
On Friday? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How's that front of the hip feeling?
That's fine.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's just a little bit left in that low back.
In the low back area?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you, Shush?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad. How's your body feeling?
Actually, not too bad.
Not too bad? Nothing
Not bad.
super terrible going on?
No.
That's good.
It's like not too bad is the operative word for today.
Did you do strongman yesterday?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Not too bad is the word after strongman, I feel like. Not too bad. Sore everywhere, but I'm okay. All right. Do you guys, any of y'all, do y'all happen to have a light weight of some sort? 5 to 10 pounds of some sort?
I don't think so.
I'm sure we can get creative with something.
In what capacity are we going to use it?
We're gonna attempt some dead bugs with weight to try to control the spine. So just 5 to 10 pounds is really all you need of some, and it can be anything really, like a sack of flour or something also works. It shouldn't be heavy. It should be something relatively light, but just to see about spinal control, to look at spinal control while we're moving our limbs, and then while we're moving our limbs weighted, kind of thing. And if we don't have a weight, we can always make it work with a strap or a belt or something. It's just slightly more, and there you go, a big heavy book. That will do it. That will definitely do it. It made it more interesting when I added weight to it. And like I said, not heavy, so you can always get creative and grab a textbook or something. Are you guys my group? Do all three of y'all have the squishy ball? The Coregeous, it's either purple or black. I think y'all got purple ones. Did all three of y'all end up with those? Shiz, did you end up with one of those? Yeah.
Sorry, I was in a different room. What was the question again?
Are you one who got one of the squishy Coregeous balls?
Yes.
Okay, grab that too. We'll use one of those as well.
Okay, I think I found a 10-pound bag of rice. I think I'll use that.
Perfect. Yeah. No, that totally works. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't need to be perfect, and it doesn't need to be super heavy. So
all right, I'll be right back.
Look, a bag of rice, a bag of flour, anything of that sort definitely works. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll switch our rolling up just a little bit, as you guys are the ones who have the squishy balls, and we'll roll our stomachs to kind of get a sensation there. And then we'll maybe roll a little bit into our arms depending on timing. So have a peanut or the 2-nut balls, the role model balls in their totes, and your squishy ball. So, you know, let's recheck our dead bug. Let's use that as kind of a check-in and a recheck. And dead bug is essentially your breathing position 1, I think Jen calls it. So if you lay on your back, you can bring your feet up, arms up, as if you're holding a big ball. I would prefer, instead of pushing your spine into the ground, can you try to find a neutral spine, pelvis and ribs stacked? But either way, come into your position and take a couple position 1 breaths, dead bugs, opposite arm, opposite leg move. Get a sense for it, how it's moving today, how it feels. Move with your breath and see how your breath is feeling, how your breath is moving. Take 1 more each direction. Keeping in mind this is a check-in, so it doesn't need to be perfect. You're just getting a sense for how your body's moving today. I'm supposed to pin my video. Let me pin my video. And then we'll grab for our purple 2-nut ball in case, or our big purple squishy ball. And if you're watching this later and you don't have a squishy ball, you can use a rolled up towel and achieve the same effect. So because you guys are all still new at using the squishy ball, we're going to start with the ball right in the middle of the guts. I like to roll directly on skin when I do my stomach. It creates more shear, and since these are thin, superficial muscles, I like to be directly on them. So placing it right in the middle of your belly button and laying flat down on top of the ball. You'll kind of feel like you got punched in the gut. That's just normal, unless you've been doing this regularly, in which case it might not feel too bad. But give yourself a moment to kind of acclimate. And then we're going to do some movement, some contract and relax motion. So you'll take a deep breath in, push the ball out with your guts, and then clench everything. Squeeze all the muscles surrounding your stomach, all your abdominals. Hold that clench for a moment, and then exhale and kind of let the ball sink in a little deeper. And then we'll do that again. Breathe in, push the ball out, hold at the top of the breath, contract the abdomen. And then when you're ready, exhale, let the ball sink in and go a bit deeper. Now let's do that one more time. Deep breath in, push the ball out, contract all of the abdominal musculature, and then on your exhale, relax. Let the ball sink in a little bit more. Hopefully that feels a little bit nicer at this point, in which case we'll start to kind of swish side to side. So taking it left to right across the surface of the abdominals. As I'm doing this, I like to really go all the way out and then shear down and across, trying to create space between the rectus, which is that six-pack muscle, and the obliques. So trying to create a little bit of shear between those layers as I go side to side. I also, as I'm doing this, I always inadvertently kind of zigzag up and down. So if you find yourself working your way up and down a little bit, that's perfectly okay and acceptable. Nothing at all wrong with that. I do apologize if you just ate breakfast or drank a big thing of coffee. Don't make yourself puke. All right, so in the past, we've taken this, and I'm going to sit up. You guys can stay on top of the ball. I'm going to sit up and show you. So in the past, we've taken this down into the pelvic bowl, gone to the right and to the left to work into the hip flexors that live deep there. This time, we're going to take it up into kind of, you can see it kind of well on me because I have this little, you know, fat clump there, but kind of the base of the rib cage, where your rib cage comes around, that bowl of the rib cage is where we're going to take the ball. So we're going to start right in the center, given this is where your stomach is. So if you're like, I just ate, take the ball a little off to the right or off to the left, either way, whichever feels more comfortable for you, to avoid that little, to avoid the stomach and that kind of, I just ate, I feel like I'm going to throw up. But we're going to bring it up into this area to attempt to work with the diaphragm some, which lives in the bowl of your ribs. So it sits inside of your ribs, kind of right in there. So that's where we're going to take it, is right into the center at that area. So as I'm here, I'm thinking of shifting the ball up and into the bowl of the rib cage, if that makes sense. If not, just kind of lift up into a little cobra, and you'll feel your breath get a little bit short and become a little more difficult to breathe as you've added some pressure to that diaphragm. You can always take pressure off by pressing into your elbows or lifting up onto your knees to come out of it a little bit. With the ball here, you can just sit here and breathe. If you want it to be more intense, as you come up, you lean over the top of the ball and come down into a crocodile. This is a lot of pressure on your breathing muscles, so make sure you are breathing and controlling the breath. The goal is to create a little bit of force on that diaphragm to make the diaphragm work a little more. So with the ball in this position, we're going to take some deep breaths. On the inhale, you're going to attempt to use the breath to push the ball out. So inhale, try to feel yourself expand and that ball go out. Exhale, try to sink once again over the top of the ball. Inhale, push the ball out. Exhale, collapse and sink back over the top of the ball. I can feel it getting in a little deeper with each breath in and each breath out. See if you can feel that for yourself. Attempting to utilize that downward pressure of the diaphragm to move the ball in and out. Let's take one more breath. And then we're going to move the ball over. So I'm going to take it over to the right side. So now I'm kind of in that right quadrant of my rib cage, over off to the right side. I'm going to set the ball up right there. This shouldn't be painful. It's okay if it's uncomfortable, but it should not be painful. With the ball in the right quadrant, I'm going to think about inhaling the right side of my lungs. Oddly enough, if you try hard, you can actually inflate the part of your lungs that you want to inflate. It's scientifically proven. If I want to inflate the right side more, I can actually make myself inflate the right side more. But using this pressure, I'm going to attempt to do that. I'm going to inhale into the right side of my lungs and use that right side of my diaphragm to kind of press the ball out as I breathe in, and then collapse over the top of it as I breathe out. Moving with your breath, inhale. Really trying to expand that right side. Exhale, collapsing over the top of it a bit more. Moving with your breath, inhale, press the ball out, expand the right rib cage. Exhale, collapse over the top of it. In this awkward position, I can feel my upper traps trying to make me breathe more. I'm going to let my upper traps go. Make sure you're not using your upper trap. That your shoulders are soft. Breathe in, expand the right rib cage. Exhale, collapse over the top. Let's go one more time, deep breath in. Exhale, collapse over the top. And now I'm going to shear the ball over to the left. So taking it over to the left side. Same thing, round two. I'm in the bowl of the rib cage on that left side. My goal now is to send more breath and expand more on my left side. So as I breathe in, Trying to press the ball out, trying to get lots of expansion on the left side of my ribs. On the exhale, collapsing over the top. Moving with your breath, breathing in, pressing the ball out. Exhale, let yourself collapse on the side. You might find it easier on one side versus the other. That gives you information on which side you should work on breathing into more. For me, the right side is harder. This left side has a lot more ease to the movement. Take 2 more breaths. Last one. Excellent. And then just for fun, we're going to bring the ball up and take it right in the middle of our sternum. For me and Deborah, it's right in the middle of your boobs. But directly in the center of your sternum is where that ball is going to go. Now you're going to set yourself up in a crocodile. Now we're going to work with the rib cage. Your goal here is to expand into the backside of your rib cage. Your ribs should move 3-dimensionally, but with this pressure on the front, see if you can feel the back of your rib cage moving more. Breathing in, trying to press the ball away, but sending my attention to the backside of my ribs. Let's take 3 more breaths. Last one. And then we will roll off that ball, set it off to the side. We're going to grab for your toed-in lacrosse balls, and we're going to get into this outer area of the shoulder, kind of the rotator cuff shoulder muscles. So the ball should come to the backside of the armpits. You're going to set yourself up, roll onto your side, and we're just going to shear out the armpit here. So rolling onto the shoulder blade and rolling back to the backside of the armpit. So just clearing out that rotator cuff as you roll side to side, as we will be using the arms. This awakening that tissue there as you go left to right. Keep breathing as you move. If you find a sticky spot, like I've got a pretty good sticky spot right there, I'm going to set my arm up. I'm going to rock my hand down towards the ground and then roll back over, making a little cactus arm to go back and forth. Create a little extra stretch on those muscles. We'll take just another 20-30 seconds to roll out this part of the shoulder. And then we'll switch sides when you're ready. Taking the ball over to the opposite side. Once again, it comes to the backside of the armpit. Rolling onto the shoulder blade. And then back to your starting position. Once the tissue starts to warm up, if you run into those sticky spots, you can set your arm up in a little cactus position turning the palm to face down, taking the palm to face up. But just exploring this back of the arm area.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, I'm back. Okay, my internet crashed. I apologize.
No worries.
Where did we lose everyone? When did I go away?
You froze when we were just rolling that other side.
Okay, so we evened out, right? We've done both sides?
Yeah.
We're good. Okay, let's come back to our dead bug and recheck in with our dead bug coming onto your back. So just rechecking in, noticing if it feels any different as you go side to side. Are you more aware of where your spine is? Can you control a neutral spine versus a flex spine? Mine feels definitely smoother. Hopefully yours feels a little bit different as well. All right. Okay, so let's bring it up. We are going to do a little bit of standing movement, and then we'll make our way back down into kind of our dead bug-ish position. So coming up to a stand, we're going to start with the rib cage, and we're going to do our thoracic glide. So we're going to start with a left to right glide. Hopefully this whole front is a little more aware now. I like to take my hands to my pelvis and then begin by attempting to shift my rib cage to the right, shift my rib cage to the left. Pelvis should stay right through center. Rib cage is what is moving. Now, if you like to give yourself a goal, take your hands to the side to give yourself something to reach for, but you can always do it without the hands if you prefer. Taking one more glide each direction. We will attempt for that front to back. So we just went side to side. Now we're going to attempt to shift the rib cage backwards, shift the rib cage forwards. As you do this, see if you can remain long in the low spine the entire time. And notice if that changes your movement to, as you attempt to keep the low spine nice and lengthened. My movement gets a little smaller as I do so, but I also create a little bit of traction in my low spine. All right, so now we're gonna put those 4 points together and you're gonna try to make a full circle. So you'll go to the side, come forward, go to the opposite side and go back around, attempting to circle the rib cage on top of the low back. Once you have the circle one way, maybe attempt the circle the opposite way. When I go this way, it's slightly more of a square, but that's okay. Make it what it is for you. Notice if you're feeling a little like I get tired right at the base of my ribs as I do this. I can feel a little fatigue start to set in. So noticing that. All right, and then we'll let that go. Let's do a full-on cat-cow standing. It's kind of your flash dance cat-cow. I think we did these last week. I don't really remember. It's hard to keep track. I like to get the arms involved. So tucking the tailbone under, hugging the rib cage down, reaching the arms out in front of you, trying to create as much flexion and standing as you can. Attempting to really press that low back behind you. From here, you'll extend, reach forward with the spine, lift the head up to get the cervical spine involved, attempting to reach the top of the tailbone to the back of the head, and then you'll reverse it. Lots of flexion, hold for a breath, into lots of extension, holding for a breath. Take 2 more each direction. And then we will let that go. All right, let's do some shoulder circles first. So coming to your shoulders, we'll bring the shoulders up, back, down, and forward. Up, back, down, and forward. Attempting to keep the spine still, but allow the shoulder blades to circle around. I can feel that my left is much tighter today than my right. My left side is having some issues. It's good. If you can move it up, smooth it out into a circle, please do so. Otherwise, keep it in that square, up, back, down, and forward. Next time you come forward, reverse the direction. Down, back, up, and forward. This is the direction that my body gets a little stupid. It doesn't know what to do with it. It's definitely much harder. We'll take one more. And then we'll let that go. Let's take it to the elbows. So we're going to take our arms out. We are going to scoop our hands underneath our armpits, take them out, flip them over, and bring them back. It's kind of like you're serving some tea, you're bringing it around, flipping it back over. Tea service without the block. Next time your palms go up, go the opposite direction, flip the palms back down. Thumb side comes towards the ribs, back around. Turn the palms down, back around. So just flipping the direction that you went. If you're like me, make your upper traps stop trying to do the work for you. My upper traps are all about it lately. They want to do everything. Let's go one more. And then we'll shake that off, let that go. If you have a band, use an easy bandy thing. If you don't have a band, you're gonna pretend because you can get the same effect through pretending. The goal is to get the backside of the armpit to turn on. If you're holding the band, you are holding it in a palm face up direction. You are going to squeeze the elbows in tight to the rib cage so that the elbows aren't in front of you and they're not pushed behind you. They're just resting at your sides. With or without the band, you squeeze the elbows in tight, you let the upper traps be soft, and if you have the band, you pull the band in two. If you don't have the band, you pretend you have a band and you pull your arms outwards. Now the goal is to get this back part of the armpit to turn on. You will hit a point where to get any farther, you have to thrust your rib cage or squeeze your shoulder blades together. Don't go there. Stop at the point where your arms stop. Your rib cage doesn't need to do the work for you. So open it up. If you have the band, you're going to open and close a few times. If you don't have the band, you can also open and close a few times, trying to get some attention to the back side of the armpit. Can you feel those rotator cuff muscles turning on with or without the tension? The tension makes it light up a little easier for some, but you should be able to identify it without. Let's go for two more. And then we'll let that go, shake that out. You can do this with a band or a strap. I'm throwing the balls all over the place today. Strap or with a band. Either one works. We've done it before. It's the halo circles. I'm going to take a wide stance so y'all can see me better. Strap comes overhead. As you're here, pay attention to what your wrists are doing. You don't want your wrists to buckle behind you. Try to keep them nice and set up even with your elbows. From here, you're going to attempt to shift your elbows forward. Now you'll notice I didn't shift my elbows forward by losing my wrists. It's a small little shift of the elbows, just a little added external rotation, and then you begin to have that tug of war. As you are here, pay attention to what your rib cage is doing. Mine immediately wants to flare forward, so I'm going to pull it in, activate my core, and try to set myself up for a better upright position. Giving yourself a nice little tug of war with the strap behind the head. Hugging the rib cage down, keeping the head nice and up. I'm gonna hang out and do this for the next 20 minutes. It'll be great. When you are done, you're done. I'm done. My arms are tired. Let that go when you're finished. Let the arms come down. See how they feel. Okay, that's enough arm awakening. Let's be done with it. Now we're going to come down to the rib cage. We are going to use the ball, squishy ball, for this. We've done these a couple times. We've done them over the squishy ball. We've also done them over the block. They're intercostal crunches, attempting to get the upper abs to activate. So you're going to take the ball right between the shoulder blades as you come down. This is not your normal everyday crunch. Your hands will go behind your head, but they are just to make it a little easier on your neck. You're not yanking on your head here. On the inhale, you will lean back and flare the ribs. Let the rib cage flop up and open. We just rolled that area. It should feel nice and open and aware. On your exhale, you're going to close down the rib cage, attempting to activate all of the upper abs here. So making that rib cage crunch down. Inhale, you open and flare. Exhale, close the rib cage down. Inhale, open and flare. Exhale, close the rib cage down. And I really want you to focus on the upper abs, the base of the ribs. Try to get those muscles to crunch down. Do 2 more. Last one, you're going to come up and you're going to hold that activation, maintain the activation. And while you have the activation, you are going to attempt to find some spinal extension. Now, I'm not losing my activation, so I'm not going as far back as I went before. I'll take a breath in, and then I'll exhale, reinstate the activation again. Inhale, I'll attempt to lengthen the spine back, not losing this upper ab activation. On the exhale, I'm going to reinstate it, crunch down even harder. Do 2 more. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, reinstate, crunch it in. Last one, inhale, reach back. Exhale, crunch it in, hold it down. I'm beginning to find a little bit of shakies there. So I'm going to lean back and get a nice big stretch. Let it go. Should just feel good now. Give yourself a stretch over the top of the ball. Take a couple deep breaths. And then we will roll ourselves off the ball, set it off to the side. Okay, so now we are going to work through our little dead bug kind of setup, okay? So we are going to start with our dead bugs where we're essentially just going to work with the feet. And I want you to consider this, instead of considering this a full lay down position where I'm attempting to flex and press my spine into the ground, I want you to think about maintaining a neutral spine. Rib cage and pelvis are stacked on top of each other.
if I were to draw a plane straight down, the base of my rib cage and the front of my pelvis would be in a straight line with that plane. And the reason I want you to focus on this is because I want you to start thinking about overhead movement and how you can maintain a nice stable spine as you lift weight overhead. So attempting to avoid that rib thrust to get the weight overhead. I want you to focus on clamping down that rib cage. And so we're going to do this by finding a nice neutral braced core in our dead bug. So we're going to attempt to move around a braced core here. We'll grab our strap. I like to grab my strap so that my palms face behind me, activating a little more external rotation. I'm going to set myself up in a neutral spine. Now for you, depending on how you are and how your neck is, you may need to prop your head to get that rib cage to be on the ground. That's okay. You're welcome to place something behind your head and prop up to help you find that braced core. This is a great place to start and eventually work your way down so that your head can rest gently on the ground. So if you need to prop your head with a blanket, a ball, a block, please do so, just so that you can actually find this braced core position. Go ahead and brace through the core as if you are going to lift weight. You will take your strap overhead, palms face behind you, grip the strap in two so that the arms are nice and active. And then you're going to stack the feet into a tabletop position. Now, when I stack my feet, I'm going to once again come back to my low spine. Did my low spine press into the ground? Did it lift up away from the mat? Can I find a nice neutral position with my feet off the ground? The answer might be no, not today, but you can try. Bracing the core, gripping the strap in two, I will begin to move. My hip hinges down, my heel touches. The movement's coming from the hip, not the knee. It is very similar to those position one breaths we do, or the dead bugs. You've just locked the arms into position. Let's take one more on each side. And then we'll let that go. Set your strap off to the side. Take a moment to see how you're feeling and how that felt for you. But we're gonna add some weight. And if you have any questions as we're going, please unmute and let me know. Now we're gonna move the arms and not the legs, is what we're gonna do now. We just locked the arms in and moved the legs. Now we're reversing it. So the same thing that you just did, but we're essentially coming into a skull crusher. I have a kettlebell. That's what I have. Deborah has a book. Shush has a thing of rice. You're gonna hold on to it somehow in your hands. You're gonna hold on to said thing. As you're holding on to said thing, you're gonna start with your feet on the ground in a standard skull crusher position. But I want you to brace through the core and maintain a neutral spine. Once again, this is not a flex spine where I'm pressing down into the ground. There's a little bit of space between my low back and the mat. I'm going to drop that weight down, maintain my rib cage, maintain my spine, and bring it back up. Now, you're only going to do 2 or 3 here, and you're going to assess whether you can maintain your spine with this weight going overhead. If the answer is yes, I can easily maintain my spine, no problem at all. You will then take yourself into a tabletop position of the legs. So my legs and my hips are engaged. I'm still in a neutral spine. I'm still maintaining position, but now I'm adding in a skull crusher, trying to maintain my spine without my legs doing the work for me. I have to maintain my core as my arms are moving, as I'm doing the skull crusher overhead. Give that a few rounds. Like I said, the weight shouldn't be super heavy. Your goal is to maintain a nice braced core,
not flexed, but a neutral spine as your arms move towards overhead. It should light up the core pretty hard. Maybe take 2 more. And then give yourself a second to rest. Once you've done your 2 more, let the legs come down, maybe windshield wiper the knees side to side. Give yourself a moment. Because now we're adding on to it, we're gonna make it even harder. So your option is stick with what you just did. If you're having trouble maintaining your spine and keeping that rib cage down while your arms are moving with your legs off the ground, you're gonna focus on just moving the arms and trying to maintain that spine. If you are okay with what we just did, you are now gonna combine the 2 movements. So I have my weight overhead. I have my braced core, or I have it up towards the ceiling. I have my braced core. Once again, I'm not flexed. I have a neutral spine here, ribs stacked above pelvis. I'm going to inhale, drop my foot and the weight overhead. Exhale, bring it back through center. Inhale, skull crusher with the arm, heel tap with the leg. Exhale, back through center. All the while maintaining this nice braced core. My spine is not moving. My arms and my legs are. My spine is perfectly still as I go. Give it a try. Move with your breath. Inhale as the legs and arms move. Exhale as you come back through center. Paying strict attention to your pelvis and your rib cage, trying to keep them in alignment as you move. Maybe 1 more on each side. Those are looking really good. When you're done, let it go. Rock the knees side to side. So let yourself windshield wiper your knees. Notice how that felt, where it was harder to hold on to. Was it harder to hold on to your pelvis? Was it harder to hold on to your ribs? Could you sense the both of them at the same time, or were you more having to focus on one and then the other? Noticing what you felt and what you didn't feel. More importantly, where were you not able to feel during that? Where were your blind spots? Giving yourself a sense for where you should do some more mobility at. All right, let's stand up. We'll end just with a nice little standard kind of grab your strap, take it overhead, side to side bend, lateral bend side to side with the strap, taking it into a full circle if you like. But just a little cool down of the spine and the arms. Should just feel good. Especially after that, you're welcome to take it into a little bit of a back bend. Let's go 1 more each way. And then we will let that go. That was a lot of information. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I am happy to answer them. If you have questions about how it worked for you and what you were feeling, I'm happy to try to guess with you what was going on. But feel free to let me know.
Ed's laughing.
Ed's laughing.
We'll guess
Easy.
together.
What?
Yes, we will guess together what's going on here.
Yes, guess together what's going on. We'll make some guesstimates about what's happening with everyone. How did it go though? Were you able to feel your spine being still, or was your spine moving a lot?
It's for me, it's this left shoulder seems stuck, and it's kind of like my sticking point. So that's what I'm overall feeling. I can feel the other things kind of settling down, but that's kind of my sticking point, is that left shoulder.
That left shoulder is your limiting factor. So that's
Yeah.
good to know. You know where to work more with, but we kind of
Yeah.
already had that idea on your left shoulder. But that's something to think about if you're going overhead on the left side. You know, how heavy should you go with that if going overhead with it feels sticky and destabilized?
Yep,
You know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Shuz, do you feel anything?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I didn't realize yesterday I was doing continental cleans. So everything around my diaphragm was so sore. So when you were doing that ball, that totally reminded me, but it's all good.
Like, oh yeah, this is already sore. That's great. Well, now you know how to roll it when it is sore, at least.
It was good. Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Good to see you. We'll see you next weekend.
Good to see you.
All
Have
right.
a good one.
Bye.